everybody, welcome to March 2023's edition of Growing the Game Wall. That's right, we're way past the whole rebuilding phase. This wall is way bigger than it has any right to be, and it surpassed everything that it was supposed to be back when it originally was built in the first place. We have a ton of games and stuff to talk about today. Lots from claim sales, some purchases from eBay, and some trades here and there, and everything few and far in between. I'm Scorpio Caesar once again. Welcome to the C's Arcade.
Get ready.
A lot of this stuff comes from the tail end of February into March. We're already in April as of recording this video, and holy hell, did I rack up a ton, as I usually do. I really need to stop and just calm the hell down, because this is getting ridiculous. But listen, on the sidelines, I have been selling some things from my figure collection to help make up some of the cost. First off, I want to say I went to Walmart the other day and I found from the Jakks Pacific line of Sonic the Hedgehog a 4-inch scale Knuckles, who I really needed to have. Unfortunately, they did not have any Chaos or Big the Cat. Hopefully when I go back they may have some of those, but those are really hard to get. And they have a ton of Sonics in every wave. I don't know why we need so many Sonics, but whatever. So yeah, we got that out of the way. We also have Amy here. This was actually a trade from Jay from Cold Knights Gaming, and I traded him a Vector that my Walmart had, and he had an Amy at his, and I really wanted Amy. So I got Amy so I could complete that wave finally. Thank God for that. Thank you so much for that, Jay. And I saw this the other day. This toy was something I was really looking forward to when they first showed it off. And I saw it there, only 30 bucks. I had to get it. I just had to get it. They had quite a few. I do want to get Mario, Luigi, and Peach at least, but for now I had to get Bowser because I don't have any Bowser merch in my collection, which is unfortunate because he's like one of my favorite characters and favorite villains in video game history. So I need to correct that. That's why I got this bad boy. This is a pretty hefty box. He's got a gimmick feature there. If you would like to see me do a separate video on some of these figures, do let me know in the comment section below. Let's get on to the claim sales. As you can see here, we have quite a bit of cartridge nostalgia going on here. Like I said before, last year I was focused on the Dreamcast, the Genesis, some of the Sega Saturn stuff, and then towards the tail end I started collecting from the GameCube. And once the year was over, I moved on. I've collected a few more Saturn games that I still have to talk about in some other videos, but I want to focus this year on NES, Super Nintendo, and the Nintendo 64. And as you can see here, we did quite literally do that. So anyways, let's get to claim sales. What do we have? First off, from Jive, aka the Retro Reaver on Instagram, I picked up Space Station Silicon Valley. This is one of those N64 games that not a lot of people played or talked about, but it is quite an interesting platform adventure game. This was actually done by Take-Two. Also, I believe this was done by Rockstar, before they became actual Rockstar games. So this was an interesting one to play, and from what I played so far, it's just silly and simple platforming fun. One thing I love about this generation in particular was the plethora of platformers you could get, and I will not stop my quest until I collect all of them, or at least close to all of them. So Space Station Silicon Valley was $45. Next up, we have some claims from Retro Claim Heroes for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Of course, I had to pick up some more cartridges because it's the flavor of the year, baby. Picked up Tetris. This was only $8. Come on, it's Tetris. You kind of have to have Tetris, you know what I mean? Like, I forgot this even came out on the NES. I'm so familiar with the Game Boy version, but regardless, I had to get it. $8. And of course, from Taito, this is one that I always really wanted to play. I remember playing it on a T85, a T60i. I forget what those scientific calculators were back in high school. A very stripped down version of it. Bubble Bobble. and this is a classic, a video game icon at this point. If you don't know Bubble Bobble, then you've probably been living under a rock for quite some time, and that's okay. The rock is probably really comfy and everything, but you might want to get out of it. So yeah, $16 for Bubble Bobble and $8 from Tetris. Alright, so from the game supplier 1994, Air Fortress. It's kind of like a side-scrolling shooter. It's just so charming. I love the little character and how he looks when he's on top of the craft. But once he gets off the craft, you have these areas where you have kind of like a jetpack, and you kind of move around using the gravity and dodging obstacles and stuff like that. You'll see the gameplay here. It kind of speaks for itself. But one thing I want to know is, who the hell is Davis, and why are they on this cartridge? The next one we have is Jackal. This is another shoot 'em up, and you're kind of driving some military jeeps around. It's a great co-op game. Heard a lot of great things about it, wanted to pick it up, played it a little bit, and it's actually quite fun. It'd be even more fun in co-op. So for these two, in total, they were only $16 because the last episode we did a few trades with Game Supplier 1994. I'm not going to get into that now. Next up, we have Perfect Dark for the Nintendo 64. This is a game that you would think that I would have played it back in the days, but unfortunately I didn't. I have quite an interesting tale to tell about this game, and it goes all the way back to like Toys R Us and seeing it in a demo booth or something. I remember seeing this game, not knowing it was actually a different game, but I thought it was like Secret Levels in GoldenEye. Like the animations were similar, the way the enemies looked and they reacted to getting shot. Well, I mean, I wasn't far from the truth, all things considered, but I had no idea. I didn't look up the internet at the time. I didn't have gaming magazines a plethora, you know, so that one was $17. I really wanted to pick Perfect Dark up on the original console that it was made for, and I've been playing through it since. I'm having a good time with it. It's a game I always wanted to play through and finish, but I never did. And considering how much of a fan I am from GoldenEye, you would think. You know what I mean? Next up, we have some claims from the Retro Wolf 88, another fantastic content creator on YouTube, one of my favorite channels that I've subscribed to recently. We got two things from him actually. We have a loose Sega Genesis game, one that I've always wanted to play, called Vector Man. This game, I think, graphically, was before its time, like way ahead of its time. It's so interesting how they use the graphic engine to power this game. It kind of has this 3D look to everything, but it's not really 3D. It's so interesting. Only $5 for Vector Man. And I also picked up a Nintendo Power from, what year was this one released? This was from April. Volume number 95. It's got the Blast Corps on the front cover, and it's a game I picked up recently, so I was going through it, and man, this is just simple, nostalgic fun. I love looking at these old magazines some nights and just thinking about the good old days. You know, like, it's got Doom 64 walkthroughs in there, you know, Blast Corps, and so yeah, Nintendo Power, awesome to get. Thank you so much, Retro Wolf 88. Yo, enough, okay? Okay, next up we have some claims from Retro Gaming Zone. You know, the one who started this whole mess of collecting from claims. Anyways, Retro Gaming Zone's real cool and everything. We got some claims from him. What do we get? We got some N64 goodness. We ended up getting Quake 2. Been trying to pick up some more of these first-person shooters. They were like N64 versions of PC games. They weren't nearly as good. I picked up Hexen in the last episode, so I picked up Quake 2 from him. This one was $16. Next up we have Jet Force Gemini, another rare classic that unfortunately I didn't play at the time. You would think how much I loved Rare back then that I would have played it. But here we are, so many years later, and I'm finally just getting to it now. Paid $11 for Jet Force Gemini. And next up we have Glover for Nintendo 64. Obviously, if I said I'm going to pick up all the 3D platformers from this generation, or at least try to, I'm going to get Glover. And from what I played so far, Glover is very interesting mechanic-wise. It's not the smoothest 3D platformer, but it's also probably one of the better ones at the time. And last but not least, we also ended up picking up the Nintendo 64 expansion pack. This is something that I've needed for years. I never got it when it originally came out because I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on back then. So I'm glad to finally have this damn thing. It's crazy just how expensive these things are nowadays. I know they sell cheaper third-party ones, but come on, those have issues. You don't want to do a third-party route. You definitely want to go with the first-party route, and this is what I got with Glover and this combined. This goes for like around $50, and so Retro Gaming Zone sold this and Glover to me for around $64. Haha, you see what he did there? Okay, we got some more Nintendo Entertainment System games here in this stack. This stack comes from Yesterday Gamer, an account I just followed on Instagram not too long ago and discovered. And he had few NES games for sale. Now this one has a story behind it, and when I do these videos I try to be as transparent as possible with you guys and gals. Now it's not always sunshine and rainbows when it comes to game collecting. Sometimes you're gonna get a dud, or something is not gonna work like it should. It's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, it happens. Discs have scratches, shit don't work, basically. And sometimes, you know what I mean, you gotta give people the benefit of the doubt. So what did we get from Yesterday Gamer? We got 4 Nintendo Entertainment System games. Right, okay? What does that gotta do with what I just talked about? Well, we'll get to that. So first off, we picked up Snake, Rattle, and Roll. This one was $12. Very interesting game. This was one of Rare's earliest games, and I didn't really look into it until I saw it on sale. And I was like, you know what? Looks like a fun, interesting game. I'm going to pick it up because I want to build up my Nintendo Entertainment System collection. We got Airwolf from Acclaim. My father absolutely loves this show. This is one of the shows he watched growing up along with the A-Team. I don't think the A-Team got a game back then, but Airwolf certainly did. I played it a little bit. It kind of sucks. I think I'd have to play some more of it, but yeah. Paid $10 for that one. And these were the two I was really looking forward to, all things considered, but we had issues. So first off, we have Cobra Triangle for only $9. This one has a sticker on it, name tag sticker with Kirby that I don't have the heart to remove. Unfortunately, and along with this one needs no introduction. It's freaking Metroid, okay? $18 for this one. So $9, $18 for these two. Got a hell of a deal for the Metroid, definitely, but they didn't work properly. Like, I mean, I've booted each game up a total of 30 times, and of the 30 times, and this is after opening them up and cleaning them out with isopropyl alcohol. Cobra Triangle in particular, the pins do not look like they're in the best shape. They look corroded at this point, and I don't think anything can save them. So of like the 30 times that I booted this one up, it only worked properly like once. Metroid, I booted up maybe probably 25 times, it worked twice. Yesterday Gamer told me when I got these games to let them know that they worked and everything was good to go. They stand by their games. I let them know, I was honest with them. I told them, listen, these unfortunately did not work properly. So Yesterday Gamer gave me an option. Either they could refund me for the 2 games, or they can send a couple of games that I did have interest in but I didn't buy, but I didn't claim. I told them whichever works for them, I'm willing to work with them if they are. They were very understanding. They told me it'd be better if they sent me the other games I was interested in, and I was completely down with that. That was fine with me. So they sent me Pro Wrestling and Rygar. Being such a big fan of wrestling games, it's still cool to see where they started with this kind of game, and it's very interesting. And Rygar is of course a classic. So tested them both out, both worked wonderfully, and I couldn't be happier. So thank you again, Yesterday Gamer, for not only standing by your games, but having sublime customer service. They could have easily told me to ship those games back or pay for shipping, but no, they just sent me those 2 replacement games and we're done. So that is an example of great customer service. Let's move on. Next up, we have a claim, a heavy one, for the Nintendo 64. This one is from RJ Plays. This is Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. And this was a Super Nintendo series, the 3D action one, kind of similar to Zelda, kind of like a 3D platformer. This game goes for around $90. RJ Plays was willing to work out some type of deal with me. I had some loose GameCube games and he picked out Metroid Prime, the original Metroid Prime, and I traded him that and Dying Light Platinum Edition for the Nintendo Switch. Bumped this one down from $80 to like $38. So I think I got a pretty good deal. From what I played so far, this game is so damn wacky and fun. I love the graphical style and everything. It's just so quirky and cute. And I love the crawling animations for these guys. I mean, just look at this nonsense here. Absolutely love it. Absolutely adore it. So yeah, got that. Before I get to the eBay stuff, I want to end the claims off with Cali Claims coming through once again. Thank you so much, Cali, for these claims. I got quite a bit from them, so let's get to it. First off, Punch-Out! Starring Mr. Dream. I originally played Punch-Out! On the Nintendo Entertainment System back when I was a baby. I swear to God, I don't remember much, but it was one of my earliest gaming memories. Playing this game with my sisters and my father, and we were having a ball with it. Even if it isn't the Mike Tyson version, I don't give a damn. I had to have it physically in my collection, and I'm glad I finally do. $17 for that. Next up, selling this one as is. This was a cosmetically damaged Nintendo 64 that did not work. Came with power cords and connect AV cables, no controller, for $30. I said, you know what? I'm getting into console modding. I want to check out to see what is the problem in here. Been doing a lot of research on consoles. Hooked it up, put in Yoshi's Story, did not want to boot the game, but it did turn on. Found out that it was missing the jumper pack, and if you know the N64, you know this sucker ain't gonna start up properly without the jumper pack in there, or you know, the expansion pack. So I put a jumper pack in there, bada boom, the system works. There is cosmetic damage on it, not gonna lie. There is some chips in the back of the shell on the bottom compartment. The vents are pretty much gone on this side, and it's missing the 2 feet on the front. No big deal. What I did was I used this to open it up. I bought the Voltar RGB mod kit, soldered everything in myself, and now I have a fully functional RGB modded N64. The current N64 I've been using is the Japanese fantastic clear blue ocean model. And while I do like this one a lot, it's not my favorite color, and I wasn't never a big fan of the whole two-tone look that the Japanese versions had. I like the more solid, translucent colors. So what I wanted to do was take this motherboard and swap it with this one. Reason why I couldn't mod this one was because the later revisions of the N64 had a revised motherboard that didn't allow for Voltar's RGB kit to be installed properly. You would need a more advanced installation mod that I unfortunately don't have the skill set to do right now. So I went with the easier option, the deals we did with Cali Claims. So what did I do? Cali Claims has some games, and what I did was we worked out a deal. The deal was trades and pay. So these are the games that I traded to them. They were looking for Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch and the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Something you may notice is that I'm starting to downsize my Nintendo Switch collection. There's a lot of games in my collection for the Nintendo Switch that I know I bought off impulse and hype and fear of missing out, rather than actually want to play the game. And if you know game collecting, you know that's a no-no. That's something you never want to fall into. It happens to me sometimes. So what I did was, there are some games on the Switch that I can always get for another console and experience it better on there, and the only draw for the Switch version is the handheld version, is being able to play it in handheld mode. These are the type of games that I don't really care to play in handheld mode, and considering I have such a huge Switch collection as it is, I'm okay with letting some of them go. Switch games I was able to get rid of were Outer Worlds, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, and a loose copy of Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube. So what did I get with all that? Well, let's see what we got. We have 3 PS1 games and 3 3DS games. The PS1 games were Perfect Weapon, my father rented games on random sometimes, and this was one of those games. Let me just sum it up in 2 words.
No way.
Next up we have Roll Cage, a game I remember playing the demo for on one of those PlayStation demo discs, and actually really enjoying what I played. It's a very interesting game. You know those RC cars that have like the wheels that are bigger than the actual body of the car, and if they flip over they can still drive? Think of that with this game. They made a similar game like Roll Cage recently, like a spiritual successor called Grip. Still haven't played it, but the original Roll Cage is a beautiful racer actually. When you look at some of the graphics in this engine being used, a great use of high saturated colors, and that's something I adore with PS1 games, so I definitely had to pick it up. And last but not least for the PlayStation 1 games, Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko. I now have all the Gex games on the PlayStation 1. 1, 2, and 3, all Black Label, and I'm really happy to finally complete this set. Are they the best 3D platformers? Not by a long shot. I personally think Gex is quite irritating to listen to. I missed out on them originally, and I always wanted to play them, so now I have no excuse. And then for the next 3 games, we have some 3DS titles. I'm panic buying 3DS games now that the eShop is closed. I want to make a separate video for that in the future. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But here are the 3 games I picked up. All games that I've owned in the past and traded in at some point. But now with the eShop closing, of course, you know, I had to get them again physically. What do we have? We have Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and Paper Mario Sticker Star. With the trades that I mentioned before, I paid a total of only $45. eBay purchases, because holy hell, there's quite a bit of them. Alright, let's get to it. First off, I gotta say, if you have an N64 collection and you want them displayed on your shelf, from the top, you absolutely need some spine labels. It is what it is, I don't give a damn. As long as I can be able to tell what game I'm pulling out of that damn shelf properly, I'm okay with them. These are the ones I went with, and you may have different ones, you may not. What games did we get from eBay? Right on. Let's see. We have Excite Bike 64. Paid only $7 for this one. It's not the most exciting motocross game, but it is part of the Excite Bike series. Figured I might as well pick up the Nintendo 64 version. And what I played, it's very challenging, but I do like the graphics and the gameplay. Bomberman Hero. When Bomberman went to 3D platforming, it was interesting to say the least, and from what I played, some more simple nostalgic fun. The music in this game is absolutely killer. You will hear some of it in the background of this video and some of my past videos. It's got a killer soundtrack. It also has some permanent marker on it. Like I said before, we're going to talk about that in a future video. Next up, we have a dud from eBay. This was the listing. This was the game I got. The label's completely torn. Granted, to their credit, they did say that the label was torn. However, they didn't show this in the freaking image. They ended up using somebody else's image, which is kind of shady, if you ask me. I could have asked for a return, but I decided to keep it anyways. Paid only around $13.50 for that. It's impossible to find a damn replacement label for Buck Bumble. So what the hell did I do? I ended up going on eBay and getting another copy of Buck Bumble. This one with the actual label intact. $22 I paid for this version. I'm just gonna end up selling this version at some point. Picked up a game called Body Harvest. I believe this was also a Rockstar game before they became Rockstar. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, this is a very interesting game. It's you're controlling this guy. It's a game I think would have been better on the 6th generation of consoles, but from what I've played so far, you're shooting huge ass bugs that are invading the countryside, and seeing bugs explode into guts is something I can get down with, so I had to pick that one up. I paid $20.50 for that one. This is a stack of games for the Nintendo 64 that I saw on eBay by chance. I ended up winning the auction for only $31 for these 4. 2 of the games I was really looking forward to and really hunting, so I figured I might as well try my luck with this lot. And included in this lot is Top Gear Rally. Don't really care too much for that one. Top Gear Overdrive, which I heard is a much better game, and from what I played, I do like it a bit more. Next up we have Armorines Project Swarm. This is another acclaimed first-person shooter, and I swear it runs off the Turok engine because it plays very similarly to it. And it reminds me a lot of Starship Troopers, and my wife did make mention of that as we were playing it. Very interesting first-person shooter. You're shooting up these big bug creatures from some other planet, and you'll see the gameplay here. I'm really excited to get through this, and definitely benefits from having the expansion pack. Another first-person shooter that I didn't play that I heard was actually pretty good and a lot of people overlooked it was 007 The World Is Not Enough. Reason why people overlooked it was because GoldenEye was the one everybody talked about and did not shut up about, and rightfully so. GoldenEye was the classic, and this one was done by a different developer, but it's not bad either. And from what I've played, I'm really enjoying it. It's something that I could get down with.
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Sorry to disturb you.
This one was expensive, and rightfully so. It was very pricey, but I won this auction for around $247. I'm not including shipping, handling, and tax in that, but I think I got my money's worth. But God, there's a story for this one too, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'm going to try to get through it as fast as possible. What did we get? Well, we got a stack of games along with the dream console of mine. This is the color of the Nintendo 64 that I always wanted growing up. It is the fantastic watermelon red. It's in great shape. It's absolutely beautiful. And this is the one that I'm going to swap out the motherboard with, the RGB modded one. And I also want to change the power light to make it green. But I haven't done that yet. It also came with the actual controller as well. Beautiful, it's gorgeous. This is the one. It came with a stack of games. We got like some heavy hitters in here, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to win this. And I did. So what are the games it came with? It came with NFL Quarterback Club 2000. If you're gonna buy an older console bundle on eBay, getting a sports game in there is unavoidable. I don't plan on playing that. I'm just using that case for parts. We also have Turok. Was missing this one. We'll get to that one. Turok 2, which I already had, so I'm going to end up selling that at some point. Donkey Kong 64, which I also got from Super Mario Zilla recently. Gonna trade that one or sell that one because I already have it. Next up we have Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2. This is the gray cartridge version, and I remember playing the Army Men games with my cousins at some point. I think they had rented it or something, or they just bought it, but I remember they were playing it one day on the N64. I remember playing it a little bit. It's not a bad game. It's actually quite entertaining and fun. Speaking of which, we also have Army Men Air Combat. I love this, how it comes in a green cartridge, and it's a very interesting chopper game. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it any justice by calling it a chopper game, but you get where I'm going with this. Next up we have Rayman 2. another green cartridge and 3D platformer. Like, I have Rayman 2 on the Dreamcast, which is probably the superior version, but to have it on the N64 is also really cool. So, there are 7 games there, but the bundle was supposed to come with 8 games. It was missing Banjo-Tooie. Look at the picture. You see it there, right? I'm not going crazy. Well, as I was opening the sucker up, I said, wait a minute. Something ain't right. I messaged the seller, I said, listen, I got 7 games out of the promised 8 games. Where the hell is Banjo-Tooie? Banjo-Tooie was the game I was looking forward to the most out of this entire bundle. Banjo-Tooie is one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games alongside Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64. Where the hell was Banjo-Tooie? I just wanted to know. Did I get stiffed? Was it a mistake? What happened? Remember talking about benefit of the doubt? I like to, message a seller, let them know, hey, where's my Banjo-Tooie, man? I was filming a video for this, and I didn't get Banjo-Tooie. The seller was like, are you sure you didn't get Banjo-Tooie? I could have swear I put it in the box. It's in the box. Did you check? Did you look at the box? Did you throw away the box? Maybe you threw away the box, he said. Maybe you threw away the box and the game was still in there. Dude, the box is still here. This dude had me going crazy. I was searching through the bubble wrap, looking everywhere to see if it was in there somewhere. I thought it fell behind my couch cushion. I was looking everywhere for the goddamn game, and it was not in there. So at some point I was like, okay, I got a pretty good deal on it, but man, the most expensive game is missing from that lot. And of course it had to be the one I was looking forward to the most. The seller was like, I'll refund you $10. Bruh. Banjo-Tooie is not worth $10. Come on, man. That game is easily a $38 to $40 game on the aftermarket as we currently speak. Maybe you can get it for a little cheaper, but you definitely ain't going to get it for $10. Especially not an authentic cartridge. Maybe a bootleg from China. So I went to bed. The following morning, he said, guess what? I found it. I found Banjo-Tooie. Send me a picture. He's like, I'll send it right away, and you can keep the $10 refund. Here it is. Here's Banjo-Tooie. And mind you, I was civil during the whole conversation on eBay and the back and forth. I wasn't being nasty or rude or anything, and neither was they. Granted, they did make me feel like I was going crazy, but I have it. Banjo-Tooie on the Nintendo 64 is back in my collection, and I can rest easy now. So that's it for today's video of Growing the Game Wall. I really do appreciate you all for tuning in and listening to my stories and my claim sales and all the crap that I've bought recently. But it's good crap, baby. Video games are my passion. Buying up all these games that I've played or owned in the past and lost over time, or wanted to own at some point. It's a dream come true. These games behind me, it's not just for show. This is my passion. This is what I love. Video games, I want to share that with all of you. And I do apologize that my video content is kind of getting stale when it comes to mainly just pickup videos. That's not what I want to do only on this channel. There's a lot that I have planned for this year, and I hope to bring it to you all in due time. Thanks again for watching, everybody. If you like what you see here, hit me up in the comment section down below. What are some of your craziest stories of pickups or games that you've bought on eBay and things didn't quite work out? Let me know. I'm very interested in hearing it, and like the video, share it with some of your friends if you haven't already. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you all soon.